Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another tutorial. It's your girl Benna. Today we are here to make the neck warmer as I had promised. It's inspired by the Women's Month. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Do share with anyone you think would be interested in this. And let's go ahead and get started. So before we begin, I would like to just take a brief summary of this neck warmer. So as you can see, it's composed of a ribbed edge, a ruffled flower, plus a bubble button at the edge. So you're going to hear me throughout the tutorial refer to as the ribbed part, the scarf, and then we shall be decreasing the scarf at one end to create the button, and then lastly we shall make the ruffled flower as you see. And this button will be going into the middle of the flower like that to close up so that we are able to achieve our look. So that's how it will be tying around the neck. Also, I apologize for my voice. I'm battling a bit of a cold, but let's grab our materials and let's get started with the video. So for the materials, you'll be requiring chunky yarn. I don't recall which brand this is because this was gifted to me a while back, but just make sure you have a chunky ball of yarn. Just one ball is enough, and I think this was about 100 grams. So 100 grams of a chunky yarn could be acrylic or mixed with cotton. Any can work. Just make sure that you have chunky yarn. And then for our hook size, we are going to be working with 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You'll be requiring a tape measure as well, a darning needle to weave in the ends, some stitch markers, maybe just like 4. We don't need so many of these, just like 4 I think can be enough, and then a pair of scissors to cut any loose ends. Yeah, that's all for our materials today. So we are going to start off by making a slip knot, and that is how I make my slip knot. And we are going to make a chain that is long enough to go around our neck. So you're going to take your tape measure and you're going to wrap it around your neck, but make sure you don't make it so tight, because you don't want to have something that's going to strangle you at the end of the day. So mine at first I had measured 15, but I realized it was too tight, so I added an ease of 1 inch. So yours could be 17, could be 16, I don't know, but just make sure you don't make it too tight, because you don't want something so tight around you that you're not going to be comfortable. So make chains that are going to be long enough to go around your neck, and I'll meet you after that. Alright, so I'm done with my chains, and these were a total of 59, and that measures the 16 I told you is my neck circumference. And also make sure as you're taking this measurement, you're not stretching your work in any way. It should be exactly 16 without any stretch of any form. So when that is done, we are now going to start building on the scarf or the ribbed part of this neck warmer. So you're going to chain up 2 more, and after making 2 extra chains, you're going to go into the 3rd chain from the hook. So yarn over, insert your hook and draw up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all. Yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop. You have 3, pull through all. So this is what we call the half double crochet. So we are going to be making half double crochets for this first row. And if you also have challenges with these stitches, I have a video where I explain how to do the different stitches: double crochet, single, half double. I'll be linking it down below, but for today we are working with a half double crochet. So you're going to make 1 half double crochet, which is yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, 3 loops, pull through all. You're going to be making half double crochets into every stitch until the end of this row, and I'll meet you at the last stitch. So I'm done with my half double crochets, and that's my first row. So for the second row, we are going to do something different. So you're going to chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and turn your work. And to create that ribbed effect, we are going to start working into the back loops of our stitches. So just yarn over and just tilt your work. You realize you have that back loop. Then you insert your hook, draw up a loop and make a half double crochet, but in the back loop only. Just tilt your work, you will see a certain sort of V there, and just go into the back of it. In fact, like the loop that you're not facing directly is the back loop. So we're going to be making half double crochets in the back loop only. So it's just basically the same stitch but in the back loop. So yarn over, draw up a loop, 3, pull through all, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull through all the 3. Only in the back loops, making just one single half double crochet. And that is just basically going to give us the ribbing, the rib effect we want our scarf to have. So we're going to keep on going with this pattern in the back loop only, and I'll meet you at the last stitch to show you how we shall be concluding our rows. So I'm at the last stitch after working half double crochets back loop only. So into this final stitch we are not going to work in the back loops, we are going to make the half double crochet as we normally would into both loops. So just make a half double crochet into both loops like that, not in the back loop. That's only for the final stitch at the end. Also, I want you to confirm that your stitches are the same as those you had in the first row before putting the extra chain 2, because this is going to help us to maintain straight edges at the beginning and at the end. So mine were 59 and they are still 59, so make sure I also confirm so that you remain with that straight edge on both ends of the scarf. So go ahead and count your stitches so that we are able to have something straight on both sides. So when we are done with row 2, we are going to repeat row 2 one more time. I'm going to show you how to do it one more time. So chain 2, turn your work and make a half double crochet into the back loop. Half double crochet back loop only into the next. To the next, make a half double crochet in the back loop. Half double crochet into the next back loop only. So it's basically the same pattern, repeat. Like that. So this is the row that we are going to repeat till we get 5 inches in length. Okay, that is going to be the height of our scarf. You can make it longer, but I thought like 5 inches is just enough because I don't want it to fold. You're going to repeat this row and just make sure that you're able to get a length that is comfortable with you, also confirming that your stitch count remains the same. And when you get to the end, make sure you make only one half double crochet into both loops. The last stitch gets a half double crochet into both loops, not into the back loop. So I was able to finalize my rows till I got a total of 5 inches for the height of my scarf, or for the width. As you can see, I'm at my 5 inches, but feel free to make it shorter or longer. So when that is done, we are going to make those decreases as I showed you at the beginning of the video. We need to make decreases so that we get a provision where our button is going to fall. So from where you ended, you're going to chain up 1 and just tilt your work a little bit, and we're going to make single crochet decreases. So single crochet into the first row and leave those 2 loops, single crochet into the next. You have 3, then yarn over and pull through all. So we've made our first single crochet decrease, and then into the next row we are going to do the same thing. Insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook into the next row, draw up a loop. You have 3, yarn over and pull through all the 3. That's our next single crochet decrease. make another single crochet decrease into the next 2 rows, insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook into the next, pull through all the 3 that you have, and we are going to decrease until the rows are done. You should have something like that. Go into the next row with 1 single crochet, don't finish it. Into the next row, make a single crochet, you have 3, yarn over, pull through all the 3. So I have 2 left, and I'll also make a decrease into those last 2 rows. I have 3, I'll pull through all. So your work now, you should realize it looks like it has come a little bit inwards, and that is the effect that we wanted from the decreases. So after that, you're going to chain up 1 and fasten off. Fasten off. So at this point, now we are going to make our bubble button. So you're going to fold over your work till you get the midsection of it from this side that we decreased, and you're going to grab 1 stitch marker and determine the middle point of this folded edge. So excuse me, just insert the stitch marker into the exact middle of the fold, and you can close it off. So this is the point where we are going to be placing the button. Just make sure you've marked it in the exact middle. So you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to make a slip knot. And then you're going to insert it into that point where the stitch marker is, but don't place it at the edge as it looks loose. Go into the middle where the stitches are a little bit thick, because if you put it at the edge where it's a little loose, the button is going to be dancing. It may not be firm enough. So go into a point where you feel like you're feeling like it's firm. So you're going to chain up 6, and after your chain of 6, you're going to go into the 3rd chain from the bottom. Count the 3rd chain, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop. You have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull through 2. You have 4 loops left, yarn over and pull through all the 4. So you should have something like that. Then we are going to chain up 3, and we are going to work into that gap. When you stretch your work a little, realize there is a gap there. Yarn over, insert your hook, you have 3, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop, pull through 2 once again. You have 4, draw up a loop and pull through all. So this is what we should have at this moment. So you're going to get that top cluster and make it slip on top of the bottom cluster like that, and we are going to make a slip stitch in between that big gap you see and the side of that chain 3 where we worked. So make the clusters slip on top of each other, and then you're going to determine the side between that gap and the chain 3 where you worked. So where we are going to make our slip stitch. So you're going to go in there like you see me do. Just take your time and get it. I know, yeah, the clusters keep moving a little, but it will eventually come out. So yarn over and then just make a slip stitch like you've seen me do, and then you're going to chain 2, and we're now going to work a slip stitch into the stitch that's directly next to the one where we had inserted our yarn when making the bubble. So go directly to the next stitch and make a slip stitch, and you should be having something like that for the bubble button. Okay, that's how we create it. So after that, you're going to chain up one and cut your yarn at that point, because that's it for our button. That's how we create this button for this neck warmer. It's called a bubble stitch. So we are basically done with the first part of the warmer, and we can go ahead and first weave in all these ends so that we can have a clean look for our flower, which is next. Alright guys, so let's now proceed to make the ruffled flowers. You're going to grab your yarn and make a slip knot, and we're going to start off with a chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then we are going to make a slip stitch into the very first chain, like you see me do. And that should leave you with a little circle like this. So into this circle we are going to make single crochets. Okay, so you're going to chain up 1, and you're going to make a total of 10 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then lastly 10. So after making those 10 single crochets, you're going to go into the very first single crochet and you're going to make a slip stitch like that. And then after this we are going to chain up 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and into our very first single crochet we are going to work a total of 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. Make sure you open your work a little so that you don't miss the next stitch. So into the next stitch you're also going to work a total of 5 double crochets. So make 5 double crochets into the next stitch. Into the next stitch make 5 double crochets. 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to go all the way around, placing 5 double crochets into each and every stitch, and that should leave you with a total of 50 double crochets. Since we had 10 singles times 5, that's 50. So go all the way around, placing 5 double crochets to each stitch. So I'm done, and you should have something like this, totaling up to 50 double crochets. So after your last double crochet, you're going to make a slip stitch into the very first double crochet. You should have something like that. So for the next row, you're going to chain up 1, and now we are going to make single crochets into the double crochet. So into the first double crochet, you're going to make 1 single crochet, and then 2 more single crochets into that double crochet for a total of 3. Into the next double crochet, make 3 single crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Into the next double crochet, make 3 single crochets, that's 1, 2 and 3. So this is going to be what we are going to repeat for all the remaining double crochets, placing 3 single crochets into each double crochet, 3 single crochets into each double crochet. One, 2 and 3. To the next one, 3 single crochets. So you're going to keep on repeating this to each and every double crochet, leaving you with a total of 150 stitches. So since it's 50 double crochets times 3, that will give us 150 stitches, and I'll meet you when you're done. So I'm done making the single crochet increases, and that totaled up to 150. So I'll make a slip stitch into the very first single crochet that started off the row. I'm going to make a slip stitch right there. And now the next thing we're going to do is just to create a border for our flower. So for this part, you can go ahead and maybe change colors to maybe white or pink, I don't know, depending on the color you have. The border is optional, but you can create it in a different color. But as for me, I'll just continue with the color green. But if you want to, you can change to another color to create the border. So you're going to chain up 1, and into the first single crochet you're going to make 1 single crochet, into the next single crochet 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet into the next. So basically we are not doing any more increases, we are just going around the stitches with just 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet all the way around without any increases this time. go all the way around, and that should leave you still with 150 stitches, since that's what we had for our previous row, and we are not increasing at all in this next row. So keep going, and I'll meet you back when you're done with your single crochet border. So I'm done, and I went ahead to also weave in all those ends, and this is how my ruffle flower looks like. You should have something like this as well. So the next thing that we are going to do now is to attach this flower onto the scarf. So I'm going to introduce the scarf, and we are going to see how to attach the flower now to the body of the scarf. So the way I want to insert this is I want the flower to sit in the exact middle. So once again I'll fold my work and get the center and place a stitch marker into the center of it. So after placing the stitch marker there, you're going to grab your flower, and this part here requires a lot of creativity. You just need to find a way of placing the flower onto the scarf, but making sure that you do not stitch the center of the flower, that is that hole in the middle. We are going to attach the scarf in a way that we are going to leave this center part free without it being sewn on or anything. I don't know if that makes sense, because we need it to close the scarf with the button. So we're just going to place the scarf in a way that it sits in the middle where that stitch marker is. So in fact what I did, I went ahead and grabbed another stitch marker and placed it from the inside to the outside, which is the scarf body. So I got that stitch marker and I passed it through the flower to meet the center point of the stitch marker on the scarf. Then I removed that previous stitch marker. It's still in the middle, just that now I've placed it from the inside to the outside. So now what we are going to do is we are going to find ways of sewing some stitches from the back of the flower onto the scarf. Just some, we're going to pick up a few stitches, but not in a way that we are going to ruin the shape of the flower, but we are just going to attach them, not all of them, but just enough to hold it onto the scarf. So you're going to grab some more stitch markers. I'm sorry, my camera was a little bit off here, but you're going to use some stitch markers to attach some stitches from the flower onto the scarf. Just a few stitches, not too roughly, just insert the stitch markers gently to hold the flower onto the scarf. And this one over here was not seated firmly, so I'm redoing it. Yeah, you don't have to put so many stitch markers, just put enough that you have a good holding for both the scarf and the flower together. And as I said, leave that midsection free. Don't put it in a way that it's going to be covered by the scarf. So you're going to thread your darning needle with a double strand, and you're going to make a knot at the end of it, and then you're going to go through that first stitch marker. As you can see, grab some loops on the flower and pass it through where that stitch marker was, and pull your thread through in a gentle way, not that it is pulling the stitches on the flower. Just do it gently like that. So we are basically going to whip stitch from the flower to the scarf. So once again, excuse me, grab some loops from the flower onto the scarf and make a whip stitch right there. Excuse me. So just keep on whip stitching as you see me do. Grab some stitches from the flower and whip stitch them onto the scarf all the way till you get to the last stitch marker. I'm at the point where I'm in the middle, so I can't go through with the stitch marker in place, so I'll just remove it and then I'll go through the center of the flower to the center of the scarf like that. And then I'll keep going with the whip stitching from flower to scarf until I get to the final stitch marker where I had marked. So just keep going until you're confident that it's really firm. So I'm at the last point and I'll just remove my stitch marker and go into the last stitch there. So you can first flip your work over to the right side to determine whether you've attached your work properly. So as you can see, the loop is free. That middle section of the flower is free, as I had said, and that's what we want to have. So just make your work flat and determine whether you have attached it in the appropriate manner. So now that I've seen that it's attached appropriately, that is my bad side, this is my good side. So now I can go ahead and fasten off. If you've not attached it properly, maybe you might have to redo that part. Just make sure that the center of the flower is opened up so that our button can pass through. So now I'm going to go ahead and fasten off this thread. So I'll just go into the same loop where I ended, and I'll pass my yarn through and I'll leave a little loop, a circle loop like that, and then go inside it once and then once more to fasten. Now that I've fastened it, I can go ahead and chop away that excess thread. So your work should look something like this. Okay, and so that's basically it, guys, for our tutorial. The next thing that you're going to do is now to just determine how you're going to wear this. As I said from the beginning, you just basically wrap this around your neck and into that middle opened section of the flower. Our button is inserted right there to close it up, and that's it. I just hope this can be useful to you in this cold weather. Also, my country people, the weather has been so cold, so you can still look stylish and warm with this. So just go ahead and weave in all your ends, and do tag me if you recreate this crochet companion _UG, and I'll see you in another tutorial. Thank you for watching, and bye guys.